I'm sorry. For the one or two of you who cared, I did say that we were going to do the Origins mod playthrough this week. We ran into technical difficulties. But I felt bad just not posting anything this week, so I decided to do kind of like a beginner tutorial for one of my favorite mods of all time, Create.3. This mod's all about rotational force and moving contraptions, and that's what I specialize in. So if anybody out there even cares and wants part 2, maybe like this video, and that'll be like the first like I've ever gotten on a video. Smiles was not able to join us today because he thrives more with creative challenges than engineering mechanical things like this. So maybe soon he'll do a building tutorial. He's really good at that. So today we're just going to be focusing on the absolute beginning steps and creating power sources, because this entire mod revolves around rotational force. So how about we just get right into it? Whoa, moving door. Now, let's go. So first off, the core of this entire mod, almost. You need this to start out anything. That was the wrong button. Andesite alloy. You're going to craft this with 2 andesite and 2 iron nuggets. There is a secondary way to craft this that's more efficient. I'll show you in just a minute. But you just arrange it like this. Why is this lava in my inventory? I don't know. I'm going to get rid of that in just a minute. And you got an andesite alloy. Now, over here is a mixer, which is a much more efficient way of making it, and you can get double the output. Almost forgot my goggles. For this one, you only need 1 andesite and 1 iron nugget. And you just throw it in the mixer. And right click it with an empty hand, and you've got an andesite alloy with half the ingredients. Down here I put the crafting recipe for the mixer and the basin, and you will need a power source, which I will get into in just a minute. But you are going to need a good bit of andesite alloy, and the whisk is made from iron sheets, which you flattened out from iron ingots, and we'll get into that later. But this is more of something that you start using when you're a little ways into it. Now, for the first power source. Now, the reason I put on these goggles is because they help you look at something and measure the stress capacity, like how much it can take. So we're just going to start out with a basic hand crank, and that has a pretty small stress level, and each machine that you power takes up more stress. We're going to make this using a shaft, 3 of any types of wood, and andesite alloy. You get a hand crank. Now the shaft can just be made by using 2 andesite alloy. You get 8 shafts, which I don't need that now, so I'll just put it in my inventory. The hand crank isn't the least powerful power source, but it's mainly if you need manual control and just if you're fine-tuning something, you don't want it continuously rotating for a long period of time. You just need to turn it, move it a little bit. You right-click on it with an empty hand, turns it counterclockwise. If you shift and right-click, then it goes clockwise. And look at that. Now we've got a way across this weird chasm of lava that is just here for no reason. Oh no, I have fallen and cannot get back up. It's a good thing that I have the ingredients for our next power source. Did you love my wonderful acting? Now for this, we're going to need a propeller, 2 cogwheels, andesite casing, and a shaft. Andesite casing in the middle, propeller on the bottom, 2 cogwheels on the sides, and the shaft on top. This propeller, you will need the iron sheets, which can be made by pressing, which you need a mechanical press. And here's the recipe. I recommend that you get just enough items. Shows the crafting recipes for everything in this entire mod. And it's just a must-have for really any mod that you get. It's just super useful for basically doing anything with mods. But I will try and show you the crafting recipes for most of this stuff, just because what else would I have to talk about? Now the tricky thing about this encased fan is normally it is a way of transporting items, smelting things faster, even transporting players if it's powerful enough. But if you have a heat source like this lava, then you can turn this into a very weak power source. It's probably the weakest out of all of these power sources, so really it's just going to be enough to get me out of this pit. Make sure you're looking up, because the fan faces whatever direction you're facing. Now, just like this, it won't do anything. So you're going to need a heat source and a source of redstone to turn it into a power source. We'll use lava as our heat source. And I've got a lever for our redstone source. Let me stand right here. And look at that! I am ascending! Freedom is within my grasp. Very slowly. Freedom. So close. Freedom! Now, let's move on to the next power source. The water wheel. Now this is actually really easy to make, and I'd probably recommend trying to make one of these as soon as you can. You just need a large cogwheel, which is just some wood, buttons, and andesite alloy, and 8 spruce, well, I'm using spruce slabs, but you can use any type of wood you want. Here we go. Now we've got ourselves a water wheel. It has a decent stress capacity. See, 128. But the best thing about it is you can layer them. Now we've got 2, and that doubles the stress capacity. It's 128 per water wheel. You have to be careful though, because these fins, the direction of these fins does matter. The water has to be flowing to where it pushes the fins with maximum efficiency. See, this one is facing the wrong way. It's only making 96. This one's 128. The more water you have touching the fins, the more power it will make. So this is the most efficient way to use a water wheel. See, 256. You've got water in almost like this C shape. Now I can pull this lever. And would you look at that? You can't do that in vanilla Minecraft. Well, I mean, you can, but it wouldn't look as cool. Woo, swirly tunnel, because I ran out of things to build at this point. Now, our next source of power, we're getting into the big stuff. This will give off a lot of power if used right. The windmill bearing. Now let me go up here. and I will show you how to make a windmill bearing. Now, I've got 2 shafts, any type of stone will do, and any type of wood slab. Now we're going to use one of these shafts and the wood slab to make a turntable. And you need a turntable, a shaft, and any type of stone will get you a windmill bearing. You don't actually have to build like a full windmill. You can put this windmill bearing really anywhere that's in open air. And as long as it's connected to wool or these canvas blocks, which are pretty easy to make. You just need wool and 8 of these sail frames. And for the sail frames, you just need andesite alloy and sticks all around. You've already got all 8 sail frames. So really these look the nicest, but wool does work too. You have a maximum of 100 sail frames or wool blocks to get the max out of your windmill bearing. So once you connect it, just right click with an empty hand and the windmill will start up. Now doesn't that look beautiful? It's all spinny and glorious. Sorry, I got distracted. So now we've got that power source up and running. Hope I explained that well. On to the last power source. And let us descend into this cool secret vault I made. Because yes. Whoa. Secret entrance to a secret place. And let me shut the door behind me, so no one will find me. I also can't get out now, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. I live here now. Now, our final power source is the furnace engine. And I do not have a crafting recipe for this one because you make it using mechanical crafting, which I'm not going to get into that right now. That's a whole nother tutorial in itself. Now, you can use a normal furnace or a blast furnace. A blast furnace will produce more power, so I've set up a blast furnace right here. You place the furnace engine on top, and then connect that to a flywheel. And that flywheel should be connected to whatever you're trying to power. The only drawback, this may be the most powerful power source available, but it needs to be constantly fueled. So let me just put some gold ore and coal in here. And would you look at that? It reveals this wonderful, wonderful face. I wonder who that could be. Well, if you've actually watched through this entire video, then, well, that's amazing. Great for you. Can you like the video if you want to see another one? Because I have plenty of knowledge in this brain. That sounded weird. But seriously, if you want to see a part 2 to this series, then hit the like button. If you don't, hit the dislike button. That's what the dislike and like button are for. Just hit one of them and let us know. So yeah, goodbye. I don't have an outro yet, so we're just gonna stand here awkwardly until the end card shows up, because yeah.